left behind. Good evening, I am Roland Josh. This is my story. It may be hard to hear, but it's harder to forget. For a long time, I buried it deep, like a secret too heavy for words. But some memories don't stay quiet. There's a night I'll never forget. The room was dim, lit only by a flickering candle. A suitcase sat nearby as Mother whispered softly to a strange man. Little did I know the meaning Mother's whispers had in store for me. I was maybe 3 years old and already carrying more than I knew how to feel. What you're about to hear isn't just a memory. Silence crawled over me like a blanket I didn't ask for. I didn't understand it. I just knew I needed it. I don't recall loving lullabies or soft good nights, only shouting fists and confusion and a whole lot of pain. I was passed from lap to lap, not with love, just obligation. I was the unwanted chore, a burden, an extra mouth no one wanted to feed. No one ever explained what happened. No one told me that my parents had split, that my mother had left. One day she was just gone, and I was alone and afraid. And all I knew was that I missed her and cried desperately for her. As a child, I was always told, "Be good, be a good boy." But no one ever explained what good meant. Was it staying quiet while they shouted? Not crying when they hit me? Not speaking when I was scared or hungry? I tried to be good, I really did. But no matter how still I sat or how small I became, the beatings came anyway. My grandfather, uncle, and father all took their turns. Fists, slaps, pinches. I was a 3-year-old with bruises and broken trust. Once, my father broke my arm. They took me to the hospital, and still no one asked questions. And then there was my cousin. He was older, about 9, and mentally handicapped. When Grandpa left us alone to scrounge for booze money, he turned into my worst nightmare. He'd beat me, steal my food, and eat all the porridge before I could get a spoonful. He ran around naked, messed in the bed every night. They drugged him to make him sleep. Only then, only when he finally passed out, could I relax. I was maybe 4 years old, afraid to eat, afraid to sleep, afraid to breathe too loudly. During the day, my uncle, meanwhile, practiced his barber skills on me. He'd yank my head around, slap me if I moved, or nick my skin with a straight razor. Every haircut was a punishment, and that's how it went for years. I lived like that in my grandmother's house from the time I was 3 until I was 7. 4 long years, 4 years of beatings, fear, hunger, and silence. 4 years where no one came for me. I stopped waiting at the window, stopped hoping to be chosen. I started to believe this was it, that this was all life had to offer. And then my mother returned. She showed up one day like a stranger. Even now, I still can't put into words what I felt in that moment. I ran to her, heart pounding, because even after everything, I still believed maybe she would rescue me. But her arms didn't open. There was no smile in her face, no warmth in her eyes, just coldness. I didn't understand it. Still, she took me away with her, and I thought maybe, just maybe, the hurting would stop. It didn't. Mother had her very own brand of pain. She used two electric cables twisted together. They left bleeding welts across my battered body. She called it discipline. At this new house, I became a slave to my siblings. I polished their shoes and cleaned up behind them. They mocked me, hit me, and spat cruel names I didn't understand yet. I was a child with no childhood, invisible except when they needed to hit or order me around. The first one who showed me any kindness was the maid. She saw me, felt sorry for me, and that sliver of empathy kept me going. But Mother put her in her place by slapping her for speaking out. So the painful beatings continued unchecked. Then, one day, something changed. My stepfather, though I didn't know he was my stepfather at the time, found out about the beatings. And for the first time in my life, someone stepped in. He put a stop to it. The violence and cruelty came to an abrupt end when he tossed Mother's electric cables into the fire, and for the first time I felt safe. But even then, the truth had more layers to reveal. The following year, December 1969, my world shattered, if only for a while. That's when I found out who my real father was, the man I had feared all my life, the one who drank, beat, and broke me. That man was my father, but I rejected him because, to me, the only man I ever saw as a father was the one with kind eyes and a gentle heart, the man who stopped the beatings, the man who showed me, for the first time, what it meant to feel safe. In truth, the pain I endured didn't make me stronger. It made me silent. I withdrew, not to be difficult, but to survive. Affection confused me. People frightened me, so I built walls instead of friendships, and I learned that being invisible felt safer than being seen. In time, the bruises faded and the bones healed, but the memories, they stayed. They forever linger in the corners of my mind. They always do. Thank you for listening to this piece of my story. If you enjoy my content and want to support me in my drive to purchase camera gear, please consider donating on my Ko-fi page, https://ko-fi.com Roland Josh. Every contribution will help me to create even better content. Thank you. If this echoes something inside you, if you grew up with silence, with hurt, with questions no one ever answered, please know we weren't meant to carry this alone.